Krásné odpoludnie. Ja by som vás poprosila, aby ste si všetci už posadali. Je vás tu hodne, ale je to iba special occasion na túto jednu masterclass, takže ak prídete na ďalší film, tak už nebudete môcť sedieť na schodoch, tak iba aby ste to nebrali ako nejakú novú zásadu. Ďakujem. And now I switch to English because I would like to introduce you to our very special guest who's with us today, and it's Mr. Director Béla Tarr. I'm very happy that he came. I'm very happy that he will get this masterclass that will be like for two parts. One of them is contributed to the film that many of you just saw or saw in last days, months, years. And the next one will be also open for your questions, for our questions, because me, Madriana Belešová, and Michal Jiřinec will be the moderator of the masterclass. So please don't be shy and ask your questions. Mr. Béla Tarr also prepared a little presentation, let's say. So we are very curious of what he's gonna share with us. So thank you, and I'm giving a word to Michal.
Okay, so Béla, tell us about your film.
You know, you do a movie when you don't have words to say, because if I can say to you, in this case, I don't wake up at 4 o'clock, I'm not gonna to go to freezing in the set, and plus I don't want to wasting the people's money. And that's, if I can tell you, I will tell you, and you never see.
So where does the inspiration come from?
Yeah, you know, I'm the same like all of you. We are doing our daily life. We are seeing a lot of things. And by the end, something is moving you. And you are just transforming on you, and you are forced to sharing with the people, sharing with you. And this is, and you know, every movie had a different reason or different inspiration. In this movie, we will talk about this because you saw it just right now, and I can say the examples. You know, László Krasznórkai, he is a friend of mine, and he is a very good writer, and he wrote a book. The title is Melancholy of Resistance. It was published in English, and I remember it was published in Slovakian. You can have it, and I hope you will understand. Anyway, he gave me the manuscript, and I read, and I said, it is absolutely impossible to do a movie about this book, because we never ever see anyone who could be Volushka. And by the end, 5 years later, I had been in Berlin. I was working with some young filmmakers, and one of them was doing a casting session, and she invited Lars Rudolph, who you could see. And Lars was just sitting, he wasn't an actor, and he was just a strange guy, street musicians. And by the end, I was watching him, and I started to talk with him, and I called Laszlo Krasnorkai at the same evening, and I told him, now we can do a movie because I funded the guy. And he was the reason for this movie.
So how the writing of the script goes, or when back then?
No script. Sorry for the script writers, but I'm really, for me, I can tell you why. Because the words are different language. The literature is different language than the motion picture. And you cannot use it. You know, if you are sitting on your desk, typing and writing and believing something, and by the end you go and you will find your location, we can talk about this, and you will see it's different. And you have to accept how it looks in the reality, and how it looks, your casting. You believe, and the worst case, what you can do if you have a script and you want to fulfill. This is what I definitely never do. Because no reason. But, of course, we had to have some order. And, of course, we have dramaturgy. That's, you can see those cards. And this is my working. I'm doing these cards. Each scene has a card. And you can see, I just writing the first card is only one word, eclipse. And when you see the movie, you can see an 11 minutes long scene. But for me, it's enough if I'm just writing, this is the eclipse. Because, you know, when you are a filmmaker, you have to see the whole movie from the first frame till the last frame. And, you know, it's somehow very important for me not to working from the script, but working from these cards. And this movie was only 39 scenes. We have 39 cards. That's all.
Did you maybe elaborate more on the process of, apart from the script, there must be location scouting, the casting.
Yeah, the location, it's also one of the main characters. Because the location has a face, the location has meaning, and you have to listen. And for me, really very important, that's why I'm doing myself the location scouting, because you never know. You can find maybe just a corner, or you can see something which is inspiring you or moving you. And this is why I'm very careful with the locations. For example, our last movie, it was the touring horse, and we had to build up the set because I did not find it any houses which can be good. And by the end we built it, the whole house. But it was a real stone and wood house. And the place, you know, when I have been in this valley, and it was only this lonely tree on the top of the hill, I decided this lonely tree has to be one of the main characters. And I called the builders and I told them, okay, I wanted to have it a house and I can go and watch through the window, and I wanted to see all the time this lonely tree. And you know, this is how it goes. But in the Verkmester we did not build it anything. But in the Saratogu we were building. And you know, it's all the time different. No recipe or no. And the casting, the casting is, let's say, what can I say about the casting? The casting is, you know, sometimes I'm working with professional actors, sometimes I'm working with non-professional people. And for me, the main issue is their personality. Because you have an idea and you can believe, let's say, a character. But this character is never existing. But you have to try to find somebody who has a similar personality. And when you have those people, your work is almost done. Because they are, you just say them, don't play, just being. And doesn't matter if I'm working with Tilda Swinton or let's say Hanna Sigula or some world famous actors, or just somebody from the street, like how Lars Rudolph started. Now he is a famous German actor. He became, but I don't know. You know, you have to have empathy. You have to know everybody needs a different key, and to developing and haunting and stealing your personality, it is a very, you need a lot of empathy. And this is why I'm telling all the time, I don't know I really don't know how I feel somebody and how we can do something together.
Maybe how do you work with actors or not? How do you work with actors or non-actors on the set?
The same. Everybody is human being, and you have to work with them as your partner or your no, somebody needs, let's say, strong words, somebody needs slaps, somebody needs caresses. You know, we are different. And if I don't feel your personality, I will be fucked up.
I just have a quick question because I cannot escape it. What happened to the house after you built it for the Shatan Tango? Did you keep it or?
When we built it, because my mania about the lonely tree, that it was a gas pipe, and we did not get permission to leave the house there. And this house is, when we finished the shooting, demolished.
Right, then back to the shooting process, I guess. Could you elaborate more on that? Like, how does it happen when you get to the set finally after all you found the right people, the locations, you had the script?
And we go to shoot. But before, I have to see it in the set alone. And I have to believe, sometimes we had very complicated and serious. If somebody is cinematographer, so see it, because it's difficult, complicated, and I have to see it and believing the whole situation and to try to see the camera movements when I'm ready, and I believe it will be perfect. Afterwards, I call it our crew, and I am telling the people how will be this scene in this location. And then we start to rehearsal, but only with the camera. When the camera is ready, I can call the actors, because I wanted to still get spontaneity. And if I start to rehearsal with them, in this case, we lose their spontaneity, because after I would like to put them to the deep water. And they have to leave front of the camera. And this is the way how you can get real emotions on their eyes, and you can see on the screen.
Maybe could you recall some memories of shooting the opening scene for Werkmeister's Harmonies, the dancing of the planet, how this shoot was done?
It was planned because I knew how they will dance. Plus, they were enough drunk for this kind of unsure movements, and And that's what we did not rehearse, but we shot many times when everything it was perfect.
So how many takes usually?
You know, the actors usually the best in the first 3 times. Afterwards, they start to bored because they knew what they have to do. And this is what, and when they really, let's say, when it is happening, in this case, I could say them, okay, today is finished, and we will start tomorrow with this. And then for the next day, they are okay.
And as your takes are very long, so do you plan also this length before, or are you waiting for what happens and?
You know, this is the same like the cooking. You feel it. You feel it, what is the good written, how you can keep, how you can play with the time. Because, let's say, most of the films are ignoring the time. And our life is happening in the space and in the time. And that's why I don't like to see movies, because this kind of logic, action cut, and the simple storytelling, when you are not listening for the human being, you are just telling your story, what your script writer, sometimes badly, sometimes good, made it. And you know, and I was thinking, and you know, how can I go closer for the essence of the life? And I said, I cannot ignore it, the time and the space, because it's a part of our life. We are the part of the time and the distance and a lot of things. And this is the main issue why I decided, let's see when the takes are long. But I could say it's not only for the time and the space, it's, you know, because the long takes, when your actors or participants are in the scene and the camera is rolling, they have to be in the situation. No way out, because the camera is rolling and you don't stop. And they have to show up their real emotions, their real presence, and their communication, it's not verbal anymore. The meta-communication is coming up. And this is why I think this is a really delicate stuff when you stop the camera or when you keep it rolling.
Does this meta communication concept help with because you work sometimes with actors that don't understand each other. I mean, language-wise.
Yeah, but who cares about the language?
And when the situation happens and you have those materials that are very long or different, how you process them after in the editing, or do you think about it again, or what was the process?
No, it's usually we don't do editing. We just cut off the clap and the end of the takes. We have to cut, we put together them, and then it's ready. It's no reason to think about, I told you, this action card, it's boring for me. And plus, I remember when I was young, I read an interview with Jean-Luc Godard, who said the real filmmaker is editing in the camera. Of course, I was only one stupid guy who followed his advice, because later his movies were many cuts.
What we didn't talk about in the Zen, the music. Do you have some music in mind before you start shooting, or does it happen in the editing room? What part of?
The music is also one of the main characters. And I like to know the main characters before the shooting, of course. And normally and usually my composer goes to the studio, he is coming back with the music, and then we will talk about and we will find which point of the movie or how we can use it. Sometimes we are playing in the set because helps for the camera movement, helps for the actors, and anyway it doesn't matter because we have to dubbing anyway, because the actors are talking their mother language. It's totally different, and it's sometimes a mess. For example, in The Man from London, Krobot was talking Czech, Hilda Swinton was talking English, and their daughter Erika was speaking Hungarian. And by the end, we have to make it an order in this chaos. But, it doesn't matter because if they are in the situation, you are not focusing. And then the whole post-production, all sound, it's artificial. We made it in the studio, and I like to do it, the sound, because you can, let's say, when somebody is knocking on the door, and you can put it stronger or softer, how you feel it.
Hello. Sorry.
This will be first one and then...
Okay. Do you like watching your own movies?
What?
Do you like watching your own movies?
I remember for them. I don't have a reason to see them because, hey, if you made, you were very focused and you know frame by frame what you made it. And plus, you have to understand, when you finished something and it's ready, of course, you will get new questions from myself. And you cannot do the same answer for the old questions. You have to think and you have to find a new answer for the new question. And this is how you go further. This is the way. This is why I don't have to see my old stuffs, because it's, for my new question is much more important than the last answer. Is it understandable? Okay.
Hello. You just said when the words are not enough, you make pictures, you make images. And what happens when the images out in the world are so unbearable, so full of violence, and it becomes unbearable to make images? What would an artist do at that moment?
Well, question is, what do you want to say and share it with the people? Swear to God, we are in Europe, relatively comfortable situation, and I'm not, the journalism is a different category. I can believe the journalism existing, because it's enough to switch on the television and you can see the hell, like now in Gaza or like now in Ukraine, but this is somehow, I don't think this is a kind of, I don't believe this is a kind of art. And somehow when you are doing something, you are transforming on your experiences. Fortunately, I did not have this kind of violence. I haven't been in the war. I haven't been in this kind of edge situation, but I think, and I absolutely understand, if somebody who was in this situation has to talk about it, has to share it, but it's so ridiculous if I'm coming from a different situation and I can share with you only what I saw personally. And somebody who had this shit, they have to tell about what they saw it. But it's a different point of view. Of course, we have to accept. But, the words are really not enough for us.
Maybe the last one. Over there, the last. Yeah.
would like to ask you if you could meet you when you were 16 years old as a young filmmaker, if you have one essential advice to give to yourself.
What?
So if you have one advice to give to a young filmmaker, what would it be?
I don't have courage to give any advice because we all are different. You know, I'm working with some young filmmakers and I just try, and I was doing my home film school in Sarajevo, and my point of view, it was very simple. No education, just liberation. It means I want you to be free and do and show the world on your own way, not following any fucking advices. Because, and I hate every art school, because you know what this means. Coming a teacher, telling you how he believes, what is the right way, and of course, who is the best student who can repeat his words on his exam. No. All of you are different. Everybody has different experiences. And how can I tell you what is the right way? No right way. It's coming from you. And don't provoke me to give you stupid advice.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you for your attention. All my best. Smoking time.